So we've seen cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin generate a lot of buzz lately. Well, today, let's focus our attention to the backbone of this cryptocurrency ecosystem, the blockchain technology. Basically, it's supposedly incorruptible digital technology infrastructure, which keeps a fully encoded database, a ledger, where all transactions are recorded and stored. Beyond the cryptocurrency trade, let's look at how other startups and even the big boys are jumping on the bandwagon. Joining us this morning via Skype from Hong Kong, Datum.org co-founder and CEO Roger Haenni. Good morning, Roger. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So, Roger, big news over the weekend. You've got Japan's biggest cryptocurrency exchange hacked, losing over $500 million. I mean, you hear news like this coming from an advanced high-tech economy like Japan, which has always been supportive of the trade, really puts forward a lot of questions about the blockchain technology and the security that comes with it. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I think what's important to say about that hack is that the blockchain itself was not hacked in that case. So the hack happened on the application layer. It was simply the exchange's fault for not securing the funds properly. And also the foundation that runs this particular blockchain has now found a solution where they are tracking the funds that have been hacked, and they are basically trying to inform all the cryptocurrency exchanges out there from preventing the hacker to exchange these funds into a fiat, into real currency. So we'll see how well that goes, but it also shows that the regulators do have some tools and mechanisms to maybe prevent such a bad actor from cashing out, for example.
Mm-hmm. But really, the case that that blockchain technology enthusiasts are making is that because this ledger is actually accessible to all, and there is no one single ledger, it's a single ledger that can be accessed by multiple computers, by a network of multiple computers. Hackers supposedly don't know or can't hack just one to be able to hack the whole system. How do you explain the hacking that happened?
So there are different blockchains, and by definition, we do want the data on the blockchain to be public so that everyone can share the same ledger and have the same visibility. Having said that, there are blockchains that add privacy features, so they can store secret data. It means they can hide financial transactions that are happening. And again, with this particular hack that happened, the security of the blockchain that runs this coin was not compromised. It was simply someone basically finding the keys to the vault where the exchange stored these particular coins. So it's similar if someone basically finds a way into the vault of the bank. The problem there is not that the currency is not secure, it's simply the entity that was storing these funds, or in this case, this cryptocurrency.
Mm-hmm. So if I'm an investor, if I'm looking to get into the cryptocurrency trade, how will I make sure that the bank that I choose is actually safe?
Yeah, so there is a wide recommendation: don't keep too much funds with a third party that you cannot trust. Of course, the whole idea of blockchain is that you are in control. And you can trust the blockchain, but you do have to make sure that you have the right security measures in place. And the best way is if you store the funds yourselves, and there are various devices called hardware wallets, which are really safe, which save the keys for you, and a little device that looks a bit like a USB key. And this is what basically everyone in the industry recommends. And especially for beginners that get into this space, do look into getting a hardware wallet. And that is much more secure than keeping your funds at a third party, at an exchange, because then your funds are under the control of the exchange and you have to trust them. Because it's a beginning industry, the exchanges are not as secure as, let's say, the big banks nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Roger, but blockchain technology really isn't just about bitcoins or cryptocurrencies. It's really, I want to share this definition I got. The blockchain is an incorruptible digital ledger of economic transactions that can be programmed to record not just financial transactions, but virtually everything of value, which is very exciting because I do know that, for example, your company is teaming up with several other firms for some exciting products other than just Bitcoins. I mean, you've got the Osmo smartwatch and recently the Swings smartwatch. Tell us how blockchain technology is being used in those two products, for example.
Sure. So blockchain is a technology that powers cryptocurrency, but as you mentioned, it can be used in many other use cases. Anywhere where we want to have a public, incorruptible state of information that we want to share. And so in our case, we are creating an app that anyone can download. This app helps you collect the data that your phone already collects about you as you go throughout the day. So your phone is tracking how many steps you are taking, your location, where you are going, and also, for example, what apps you are using, and thereby, by extension, what kind of customer segment or profile you belong to. And this data is already heavily aggregated and actually sold. So if you install a free app nowadays, this app highly likely has up to a dozen different SDKs, little pieces of code embedded, that collect all of your data, and the developers get money for sharing this data with advertisement networks that then retarget advertising banners to you. So our app allows you to collect this data, become the owner of this data, and then get rewarded if you opt in to share this data. And we are seeing many countries starting to introduce more data privacy and data protection rules. And we're really trying to provide a solution for this. So we don't want to lock data away. We want to help companies, but also individuals unlock the vast value that lies in this data. But we're just saying there needs to be more transparency and control. And so blockchain allows us to do this. Blockchain allows you to store data on the blockchain, knowing that you still own the keys to this data and you are in control of what happens to this data, and you can take part in the monetization of this data.
So Roger, what I do is, for example, I download your app, I get to decide which information from my phone can be accessible by others, and how do I get rewarded? Through, you're going to give me DAT coins, right?
Correct, yeah. So you download the app, you give the app the same permissions that you would other apps or games. So sometimes we install these apps and they ask, hey, is it okay if I access your location or if I access your contact, things like this. So it's up to you how much you're comfortable to share with. Our app takes this data, we anonymize the data, and then we sell this data to the same advertising networks that the other apps are already selling the data to. But what is different in our case is that we take the money that is made from this data sale and return it to you in the form of these DAT tokens. And this is a cryptocurrency that can be exchanged into other cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin or Ethereum, or you could even exchange it to real currencies through a cryptocurrency exchange. And this data is worth quite a lot of money. So we have actually a calculator on our website where anyone can go and play around and see how much would my data be worth. So how much is my data from various social media networks worth? How much is location-based data worth? How much is my health data worth? And we see this becoming a huge industry. In fact, IBM just released a report a few days ago. They're predicting that the market for personal user data will be worth $1 trillion by 2020.
Wow, $1 trillion by 2020. This is personal data. But very curious, Roger, and I'm pretty sure the audience is also very curious to know, how much would I earn? Do you have an estimate, a ballpark figure of how much I can earn for offering what specific kinds of data?
Yeah, so once we have all the data sources that we want to collect connected, and if you share all your data, our calculator is estimating around $2,000 per year. So of course that is the blended global value. Right now, at the moment, in the first use cases that we have, for example, one of the things that you can do is you can share your email with certain advertisers to send you an advertising email. That's basically a big industry that's already happening. In our niche where we are, we have about 80,000 users now. We are able to pay out between 50 US cents up to $10 US to people for just opening one email.
Oh, wow, interesting. But you did mention marketing agencies, because right now you've got Facebook, you've got Google, and for sure these companies are tracking our every move online, and they have their own data sets, which marketing agencies, according to some reports, actually pay for. Marketing agencies pay over $100 US for these user data accounts. Do you think in some ways that the service you offer could be redundant with what Google or Facebook can offer to marketing agencies?
So actually, Facebook and Google only sell the end product, the end service, which means they allow advertisers to place advertisements against these user profiles. But Facebook and Google don't sell the raw data that is behind their analysis. So we enable advertisers to really get at the raw data, to build their own models to reach the right customers. And we also go beyond advertising data. So we are aggregating health data. The problem there is the iPhone, for example, has an app that Apple provides called Health Kit, Apple Health. This collects a lot of health data from many people, but ultimately Apple is the one who controls which researchers get access to this data. And we don't think that is right. So even if Apple is a good gatekeeper, it should not be their decision who gets access to this data. That should be your decision or the decision of a crowd.
And of course, this fits perfectly into your campaign last year. Hashtag take back your data and hashtag get paid to do it. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, Roger. Oh, good talking to you.
Thanks for having me.